Hello, welcome to the first episode of Hulk Wins All. Today we will be covering Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Warning, this will contain spoilers for the movie. You have been warned.
Okay, let's start from the top. In the start of the movie, Miles Morales is at his desk drawing stickers to throw up around New York City. He says he'll walk to school, and while walking, he sees some kids he knew from his old school, Brooklyn Middle. Most people figure out that Miles isn't too happy to leave Brooklyn Middle, having to go to the Visions Academy, where he got accepted almost from a lottery. On the walk to school, he trips and falls, ironically right when he's throwing up a sticker on a sign. His father, unfortunately, is right there in his policeman's car, stopping right in front of his son on the floor of the street. He gets in the car, and on the drive to Visions Academy, his dad says something very familiar in a way. His dad says, "With great power comes great responsibility," worded a little differently, as "with great ability comes great accountability." Miles remarks, "That's not even how the saying goes." When Miles gets out of the car in front of Visions Academy, his dad says, "I love you, Miles." Miles replies, "I know, Dad," and starts walking up the stairs. His dad doesn't take this crap from him. His dad uses the police car speaker and says, "You gotta say I love you back, Miles." And a whole thing goes on for almost 15 seconds until Miles finally says, "I love you, Dad." I love this, personally, in the movie because rarely in these days movie shows kids actually getting in trouble for disrespecting their parents. In the next following scene, Miles is walking into Visions Academy, and since he does dismay the place, is late to almost every class. One class that he is late to is watching a movie. He tries to creep in, but the teacher notices him and says, "Where have you been? You're late." Miles remarks, "Einstein said time was relevant, so you guys could be early and I could be on time." Fast forward a few scenes, and Miles Morales meets Gwen Stacy for the second time, running into her while running away from Doc Ock, who has figured out their little stakeout and is ready to kill on sight. It looks like Miles and Peter are losing, but then Gwen Stacy jumps in, casually beats down on Doc Ock, and ties them up in the process. After introductions, they all head to Aunt May's house, which is kind of awkward for Peter because he buried her in his universe. When entering Aunt May's house, they meet 3 other spider people, and humorously, Aunt May offers them name tags. After their meetup, they quickly come to the conclusion that Miles is not ready to help them fight. This leaves Miles in a sad state, knowing that he wants to make Kingpin pay. Doesn't want to let Spider-Man die again, as he did in the beginning of the movie. Miles tries to get a hold of his Uncle Aaron, but is unsuccessful. He goes to Uncle Aaron's apartment and leaves him a note. On the way out, he thinks it's Uncle Aaron, Well, it is Uncle Aaron, but in his killer suit. Miles gets flustered and quickly turns invisible, hoping that what he thinks is a creature doesn't get to him. He barely escapes, but the creature, known as Prowler, aka Uncle Aaron, follows him out by his heat signature. In this epic chase, Miles Morales barely escapes, but is followed to his friends and fellow spider people's whereabouts. In the next sequence, there is a big fight of the spider people versus Kingpin's fighters. This is a epic fight, but unfortunately ending in Uncle Aaron dying, only because he let Miles go. Many people were sad about this in the movie theater, knowing that if he would have just killed Miles, he would have survived himself. But he was a great uncle and died in Miles' arms, letting him know the last thing he wanted him to know. That he's better than all of them. That he can save the world. This is what spurs Miles on to realize the sadness and wanting to make Kingpin pay. He goes to Aunt May and gets new gadgets and web shooters to help him. At this point, the other spider people don't know that Miles is coming. They still believe that he is not ready and should not be on the battlefield. They show an epic montage to What's Up Danger, written for the movie, of Miles overcoming his fear and jumping off the building and barely saving himself with his web slingers. He then goes to the fight and brings a new energy that takes them over the top, ending the movie with him saving all of their lives. He kills Kingpin in an epic battle, ending with him using the shoulder touch introduced earlier in the movie. That's all for this week's episode of Hulk Wins All. Hope to see you next time and have a great day.
Remember to subscribe!